All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, August 30th, 2012. We are going to go over the trades that we had this morning in the live trading room. We actually had some range today, which was nice. And we're going to go over the trades that we had, the trades we took, the trades we missed, all that sort of stuff. If anybody has any questions during the recap, feel free to type them in, and I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. All right, let's start off with the results. We are up 11 ticks on the YM and 2 ticks on the NQ. All right, 11 YM and 2 NQ is where we stand on the morning. We're flat on the ES and flat on crude. And it's not to say that we didn't have any trades set up on the ES or on crude. We did have trades set up on both, but we just got break even on the ES trades. I'll go through them first. All right. Let's see. The morning started out right here. Let me back this down a little. All right. Before I go any further, I should say, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take the free trial with us, go to www.cfrn.net/apply. That's www.cfrn.net/apply. All right. With the free trial, you get 5 days in our live trading room. You get access to all the indicators and charts and data feeds that you see here. You can download them on your own desktop. We actually highly recommend that you do download them on your own desktop. And we try to teach you all the setups and everything that you need to know to get started in the actual free trial. And obviously if you become a partner, you get 3 months of mentoring, and you get access to Dwayne and I and everything else that you need along the way for at least the 3 months. Again, it's www.cfrn.net/apply. Let's see. What else? Well, that's it. I already did the results from the live trading room this morning. So let's just do the trades. Good morning, Robin. We started out the day. We were looking for a pullback up to the BBC here. All right, we need to get back up to the BBC for a bounce off the BBC. All right, right here we pulled back up and we shorted here at the BBC. Once we had 1 point profit in the trade, on this bar right here, we had 1 point profit in the trade. We moved our stop up to break even. And on this very same bar, it came back and stopped us out in break even. And then it moved down to our profit target at 2 points. Okay, so that first one went for 2 points. We ended up getting a break even on it. The next one was the same thing. We got a lower swing in here, so we're looking for another pullback up to the BBC. We shorted the pullback up to the BBC. It gave us a point, and then it stopped us out in the same bar right there. All right, and then it moved down to the weekly trading zone down below us. I had suggested over here that once it pulled up to the BBC, if it was going to go down, we may see the weekly trading zone down below us. I wasn't as confident about that because it was, a full 8 points down or 6 points down, and we haven't had that much range in the markets lately. Let's see, over here when it pulled back up to test the BBC, we did not take this trade. Not sure why we didn't take this trade, but we didn't take this trade. Oh, because it was going down into the weekly trading zone. That's why we didn't take it. It was dropping down into the weekly trading zone, so we weren't going to go short here. You see it went through the BBC. It gave us a bullish cross and a pullback down to the BBC right here. This was at the end of the morning session, so we didn't take this one either. But the idea would have been to get long here and at least hold on for the window of opportunity to get filled, the space between the BBC and the MA1. And that did get filled, and now it's bouncing off the MA1. The MA1 looks to be holding the price down right here. And that was the ES this morning. There wasn't really that much opportunity. Now, granted, I say there wasn't that much opportunity. There were 2 trades that went 2 points each, minimum of 2 points each, so there was an opportunity from my entries to get 4 points if you had managed your stops differently than I did. And and that's totally up to you how you manage your own stops. Let's see. Yeah, and that was pretty much it. One thing I want to point out is when we have divergence down here on the slingshot, when you have the green line moving away from the cycle portion of the slingshot like this, and you get, well, what you anticipate seeing is the green line is going to work its way down into the cycle portion of the slingshot, like it did over here and like it did here. All right, in both of those instances, the green line did work its way down, and price is actually going to be moving down to make the green line go down. All right, that is how it all works. And that was the ES this morning, guys. All right, let me jump over to the NQ, and I will show you what happened here on the NQ this morning. Now, there's something, we have a partners meeting tonight. For everybody who's in here on the free trial, there's a partners meeting tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. You must become a partner to get into the partners meeting. If you are interested, you should have an email in your inbox from me with the current offer to become a partner. If you do not have the email, then you should email me at support@cfrn.net, and I will send you out all the information you need. All right. If you're already a partner, then just a reminder, there's a partners meeting tonight. There was a trade here right at the open. We had a bearish cross, a pullback up test to the BBC with a down close, and one of the significant things about this is that it was broken support and it pulled back here. And this was one of the things that one of our partners pointed out. He said, whenever that happens, you usually get a really nice move off it. And you can see right here, there was a very nice move off of that. The next opportunity, well, it was right in here. I think that's why I had, that's why I had this over here at one point. When I expand the charts, the arrows stay still, and it just throws them all off. But you can see we pulled back up, tested the BBC, and had a down close right here with some bearish divergence. I didn't take that trade because the cycle was moving up on it. There was an opportunity in here with bullish divergence, a bullish cross, tested the BBC. It actually tested the BBC over here. It didn't actually hit it there. It tested it over here and gave an up close with a bullish divergence. That one moved up nicely. Let's see, over here there was another one, but the cycle was moving down by the time we got the up close. I actually did get long in here by accident. I made a mistake and then I got out at break even on this. I hadn't seen, or I hadn't noticed that the divergence was bearish, not bullish. So we got our bearish cross, and the price pulled back up here, tested the BBC, and gave a down close. It was just a little bit of bearish divergence. Now this is another one of those instances where we broke support. We broke the dynamic support. Price came back up right at the dynamic support and gave us a shorting opportunity. And you can see that move down nicely as well. This is the trade that I actually did take over here. We had the bearish cross, pull back up, tested the BBC, and gave a down close. I shorted right in here, and I took some profit down here. Okay. As we moved on, there was bullish divergence to test to the BBC with an up close. Right there, that was a nice NQ trade that I totally missed this morning. In here we had more bullish divergence, but it didn't pull back down far enough. And that was pretty much the end of our morning session on the NQ. All right, there was opportunity. I think pretty much every trade that was available, I think, had won. The ones that I took won, and the ones that I didn't take also won. Hang on a second, there we go. All right, let's see, the YM. I'll show you the trade that I took on the YM here. We just had another, what are you saying there, Eddie? Oh, okay, we just had another here with a bearish cross, broken support, pull back up and tested the BBC with a down close on the broken support for the move down. Eddie just reminded me that we just had another one right there. Okay. Let's see, over here on the YM, I'm going to scroll it back so we can see the trade that I took. Now, starting at 9:30 right here, we were looking for price to pull back up and test the BBC and give us a down close. It did do that. Actually, we weren't looking for the down close on this because it's a 500 contract, so I just sold the BBC up here. And I was looking for it to fill the window of opportunity, which it did do, and so that was where I took profit on that. Now, I actually did something. I thought I had gotten out of that trade sooner, but I looked at it again when it was over here, and I was still in the trade. I had thought I had gotten out of it over here, but apparently I did not. But I did get out over here, pretty much the same spot where I would have gotten out over here. And from then it was going into the weekly trading zone, so we weren't looking to trade it. There was a nice opportunity right in here. I just missed it, this nice opportunity. I do occasionally miss some very nice opportunities. But if you guys were partners and you had learned the system, then you would have been selling right here and holding for the ride down here to the weekly trading zone. I unfortunately didn't see the trade when it was setting up, or I didn't take the trade for whatever reason. I'm going along with didn't see it because I didn't even highlight it. But you can see it dropped down to the weekly trading zone. We went zone to zone and back up to the zone here on the YM. So there was plenty of action on the YM this morning. There was movement on the YM. We just didn't have a ton of opportunity as far as the trade setups go. Over here, this was after the morning session. There was an opportunity to get long again right here, but it was going right into the weekly trading zone, so I wouldn't do that. But you can see it gave a little bit, it gave about probably 5 or 8 ticks profit, 5 or 8 points profit, and now it's got a bearish cross. So it's just not as attractive as it was. Let me slide this thing over here and come in here and see. For anybody that's coming in right now, just a reminder, Dwayne's not going to be in here today. It's just going to be me, Robin, David, and Bert. And I definitely want to wrap this thing up by 1 o'clock Eastern time. Okay? So, just FYI. Here we go. Let's jump into the crude. We'll jump into the crude here. And there wasn't a ton of opportunity. There was a bunch of movement, but not a ton of opportunity on the crude this morning. Okay? We had a long opportunity right in here for about 10 ticks. Another long opportunity in here for a little less than 10, I think. We had this big down move right here, but we didn't have any opportunity to get into that. Not using the normal trade setups. I mean, you could have used, there was momentum type trades that you could have jumped in on in there, and I'll show you a couple of those right here, right there, and again right there. You could have jumped in with a momentum type trade. You could have done it again right over here. And that's one more over here. This was right at the close of the morning session, but right there. Alright, those were all momentum type trades. This one here was actually a normal type trade with a down close. You could have gotten short right up there. But it moved so fast it didn't pull back and give us the opportunities off the BBC with the divergence. Okay? So those types of trades weren't necessarily there. Kyle, you're still there. Yes, I don't, but other people do. Kyle, there's some other guys that do it on on a 6-tick range, or I mean, you can do it on whatever you want, really. I can go back to the NQ and show it to you on a larger time frame. And I will in a minute, because there wasn't really much to see here on the crude, so I'll just jump over there for a minute quickly, just to answer your question, okay? Let's see, here's the 6-tick range, okay? And you're looking for the same exact things. You're just not going to have as many setups, is essentially what it comes down to. You want to have the divergences. And you can even use the momentum type trades if you wanted to. Like right in here would have been a momentum trade. Right here would have been. But you're still looking for the same thing. You're looking for the bearish cross, pull back up to the BBC, and a down close. You want to have the divergence to go with it when it's happening. This right here wouldn't have worked out. Bullish cross, pull back to the BBC with an up close. This wouldn't have been a trade right here. This would have been a trade that didn't work. Over here, bearish cross, pull back to the BBC with a down close. You could have shorted right in here. Okay. 1034 on gold, broke support, pull back to BBC and fell hard. Okay, so Eddie, we'll go over that in the partners meeting tonight, Eddie, okay? And right here, I mean, right now we don't have any divergence to support this, but you have a bearish cross to test to the BBC with a down close. There's no divergence to support the trade at this point. But you'd be looking for the same exact things, Kyle. Okay? Over here, this was this yesterday? Yeah, this was yesterday. A bullish cross test to the BBC with an up close with the bullish divergence. Bearish cross test, down close, bearish divergence. Now you're looking for the same exact thing. You're just doing it on a bigger time frame. And it doesn't have to be a tick chart either. That's just a little more information for you. All right. Again, partners meeting tonight for anybody who's not a partner. Okay. And all right. I am going to wrap up the recording right here.